Hi home cooks! Today I'm in the kitchen making tomato sauce from garden fresh tomatoes. This recipe is made with only garden fresh tomatoes, olive oil, and herbs, which makes it perfect for using with a variety of recipes like pizza, pasta, soups, and stews. This is the best and simplest recipe to turn your garden fresh tomatoes into a rich, authentic sauce. You can freeze it, can it, or use it right away. I'm making a classic Italian tomato sauce right at home using fresh garden tomatoes. This is a simple and versatile sauce bursting with rich flavor. No canned tomatoes, no shortcuts, just real wholesome ingredients. So let's get into the kitchen. This is how I make homemade garden fresh tomato sauce. The first thing I need to do for this recipe is wash the tomatoes and remove the green core at the top along with any blemishes. Since you've clicked on this recipe, I'm assuming you already have your tomatoes picked out. But if you're looking for a little help picking out the best tomatoes, the top choice for tomato sauce is San Marzano. They have low moisture, a meaty flesh, and fewer seeds than other varieties. They're naturally sweet and have a lower acid content. Another great choice is Roma. These are also a smaller, compact tomato. Another great tomato are paste tomatoes. These are called plum tomatoes or sauce tomatoes. And just from the name, you can see it's a great option for sauce. I'm making my sauce today with a mixture of tomatoes. This always adds a unique depth of flavor to my sauce. I'm adding some cherry tomatoes in with the mix of larger varieties to add a delicious pop of sweetness. Cut your tomatoes in half or quarters depending on the size. This will help them cook down evenly. Smaller tomatoes like cherry can be left whole. Alternatively, you can cut an X in the bottom of each tomato and dip them in some simmering water for a minute or two, just until you start to see the skin detach from the flesh of the tomatoes. Then, with a slotted spoon, move the parboiled tomatoes to a bowl of cold ice water. This will quickly cool them down so you can very easily peel off the skin. If you decide to remove the skin first or after they're done cooking for the sauce, it's up to you. Either way works equally as well. Now I'm going to add all the prepared tomatoes to a large pot or Dutch oven. Avoid aluminum or non-enameled cast iron. These can react with the acidity in the tomatoes. Now to make sure that nothing burns as they start to cook, I'm going to add in 2 cups of water. Cover the pot, leaving a small crack for the steam to escape, and bring it to a simmer over medium heat. These are going to simmer for about 30 to 45 minutes, stirring occasionally to ensure everything is cooking evenly. Now I'm going to remove it from the heat and pour the tomatoes into a strainer. If you want to save the excess water, place the strainer in a bowl, then save the excess liquid for another use. Removing all this excess water first is going to ensure the thickest sauce and a more intense flavor. And now my tomatoes are ready to turn into sauce. And while it might seem the easiest way to get a smooth sauce, a blender, food processor, or an immersion blender is too harsh for the tomatoes. When the seeds inside are blended and broken, they'll add a harsh bitterness to the sauce. The easiest way to do this is with a food mill. This allows the sauce to pass through while holding back the skins. You can also easily use your hands to remove the skin and then squeeze the tomatoes once they're cooled, unless you chose to remove your skins at the beginning. You can also use something like a potato ricer, like I'm doing here, or a strainer to squeeze any leftover flesh out of the skin. To season my sauce, I'm going to mix in 2 teaspoons of salt, or to taste. And my tomato sauce is ready to use or store. When you're storing the sauce, make sure to avoid containers made from aluminum or non-food grade plastic containers. The acidity in the sauce can cause them to leach harmful chemicals into the sauce or react with the aluminum, which will affect the taste and safety of the sauce. Glass jars like I'm using here, airtight plastic containers, or even freezer bags that are BPA free are all great options. And the sauce can be stored just like this in the fridge for up to 5 days. For longer storage, you can freeze it. Just keep in mind the sauce will expand as it freezes, so leave a little extra space in the containers. Store the cooled sauce in the freezer for up to 3 months. Home canning, like I'm doing here, is another great option for long-term storage. To add an extra burst of flavor to the sauce, I'm going to pop 1 basil leaf into each jar. It's going to infuse its flavor into the sauce as it sits. I've also drizzled a little bit of olive oil onto the surface. This adds even more subtle flavor and provides an extra barrier for the sauce as it's stored. But both of these steps are optional. I've already sterilized my jars and lids, so to finish the canning process, I'm going to submerge the jars in a large pot of water and boil for 15 minutes. This classic vintage recipe brings out the natural sweetness of your garden tomatoes for a bold, sunny sauce you can store and use long after the summer months have disappeared. And as always, you can find a link to the full written recipe in the description box below. This recipe is my go-to for authentic Italian flavor. Enjoy! If you're a fan of deliciously simple vintage recipes and old-fashioned skills, then you'll want to check out this next video. Thanks for stopping by.